Well, we parked at Queensbury Underground station, so we caught the tube in, which was just a couple of stops. And then we bumped into a few people we knew from the KC, had a bit of a chat, had some photos done down Wembley Way. And then my dad's cousin and his daughter, who are big rugby union fans, they're London Irish fans, they'd watched the semi-final on TV, loved it, and decided that they were going to come to the final for their first ever rugby league match.
Brilliant.
So we met up with them, wandered down to Asda and had some lunch there, and then headed into the ground.
Lovely. Okay, so you're in the ground. What was the atmosphere? Were you in the Hull end, or were you down the side?
Yeah, we were in the Hull end. We were on the upper tier, but there was a good number of Hull fans around us.
Yeah. What was the atmosphere like then, building up to that? Were you confident? How did you feel kind of going in? What was the buzz around you like?
There was definitely a real buzz, much more so than like at the previous years that we've been there. I couldn't decide whether I felt confident or not. It was real uncertainty, but I think among the Hull fans generally there was quite a lot of confidence there. But obviously I think once you get into the ground it all becomes real, and then the nerves do start kicking in.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, it was a really attritional first sort of half hour. And in fact, the first half was a big arm wrestle, wasn't it? And you went in 6-0 down at half time, and you hadn't cracked the Warrington defence at that point. What were your thoughts at half time, 6-0 down? Were you confident that you could come back in and have a surge in the second half, or were you worried that Warrington might come out and blow you away?
I was still happy with the position that we were at, because I think every cup match we've played this year we've gone behind.
Yeah, you've seen it all before, especially against us at the Keep, man.
Yeah, and just generally, actually, I think Adam Pearson said today that we've gone behind in 16 matches, so it felt quite normal for the opposition to score first. And the last 5 minutes of the first half, I think our defence really held out well, because there was a lot of pressure on us from Warrington once they'd scored that try. I think I had slight concerns that we'd be nilled like we were in 2013. That just goes through your mind a bit when you're still on nil.
Oh, no.
But yeah, still fairly comfortable with the position that we were in.
Yeah, I mean, even 6-0 down, you were certainly doing better than your crosstown compatriots were 365 days prior to that. So the second half kicks off. Gidley misses his penalty, and then Warrington end up 10-0 out. So with 20 minutes to go, just after Gidley's gone off injured, Sneyd kicks that 40-20, and watching it at home on TV, I kind of imagined that there would be a bit of a swell of kind of belief or hope coming across the Hull end. Was that something that was palpable? Could you sense that when the 40-20 went over? I
think also Gidley missing the two kicks, you just sort of think it's only 10-0.
And
it could be 14-0. And I remember saying at that point to Owen, who we'd met up with, I said, if we score once, I think we can win this. Because I just felt if we could just get something, it'd give us the momentum. But yeah, and I think with that 40-20, it was that thing of, come on, let's kick on from here, let's do this. And
of course, you absolutely did that, sort of as part of that phase of play. The Mahe Fanua try went over, and then a few minutes later Jamie Shaw scored, and both those tries were converted. What I want to get to is perhaps arguably the most important moment of the game, which was that tackle when for Danny Houghton on Ben Curry. You must have been in dreamland at that point, having been watching Warrington sort of camped on your line as well for a period of time. What was that feeling like?
It was traumatic, because obviously it was at the other end of the pitch, so we couldn't see it as clearly as obviously the Warrington fans would be able to see it. But yes, watching him get through a few tacklers and then seeing the ball coming out, but then everything seemed to move in slow motion, because it was that thing of, I'm sure the referees just said knock on, but has he gone to the big screen? What's happened?
Yeah.
It seemed to last a long time before it was definite that it wasn't a try.
Right. Well, I mean, from that point on, you guys went on to see out the game, and and lift the Challenge Cup. So congratulations! It must be a wonderful feeling to have ticked off one third of the treble by now. What's your prevailing sort of feeling and memory from the day? Then what stands out for you? What will you take on from this? What will be the little nugget?
I think the memories of those last few minutes, and after that tackle, and obviously at the full-time hoots, just seeing all the players just absolutely flat out. I think it just showed what an intense match it was.
Right.
But it showed that for once, well, maybe not for once, but Hull have actually competed on the big stage, and they've done well on the big stage, because so often these matches have been built up, like the one earlier on in the season between Hull and Warrington, and they've been absolutely awful, whereas I think actually it was a good match, and we performed and we won it.
Now, I suspect I know the answer to this question because of how well you've spoken about your team. But I want you to tell the truth. Were you ever part of the Radford Out Brigade?
Oh yeah.
And has he changed your opinion on him now?
Several of my tweets last year to you said I thought he had to go.
There's no catching you out, is there? Fair enough. So has he wormed his way back into your good graces for now then?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, I remember having the conversation last year with my dad about, I'm not sure about him, but you never know, he might be the one to, win at Wembley for us, and he has done.
There you go. Fantastic.
I think the team he's had this year has helped.
Right.
There's been some strong leadership, and I think he's matured as a coach.
Yeah. Fantastic. And were you at the celebrations today? I know there's about 23,000, 24,000 people. Yeah, you were there today. How was that?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, just the number of people there, and it was a really, really nice, it felt like a party atmosphere. I went in 2005 and it was a bit more just of look, here's the team and here's the trophy, whereas there was a lot more build-up, and it was nice to see the players really enjoying it and everything.
Oh, fantastic.
That's brilliant.
It really is good. Well, listen, Sarah, thank you so much for first of all, for letting us haul you over the coals a little bit just now, but also thank you for your support and listening to us over the months and over the years as well. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
In the nicest possible way. I don't want to be hearing from any other fans this year.
Yeah, absolutely. We
I want to be talking about Wigan winning a grand final, but Hull winning on Saturday was an amazing experience to watch, I thought. Will you come back and talk to us again if Hull win the grand final, though?
Yes, I will.
Fantastic. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, thank you again, Sarah, for that. That was it was tremendous. It's always nice to have people who listen to the show join us on the Super League pod, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great, and we like to share other people's victorious moments, because they can say it far better than we can, and I think you could sense in the way Sarah was talking about sort of the balance she was striking the whole day, really, between, and even now still, between excitement and apprehension, and not really sure what was going to happen, how it was going to turn out, and where this leaves Hull, I suppose, in dreamland, like she says.
Absolutely, and it was a tremendous final as well. The way the game panned out and what we actually witnessed as well was probably one of the best Challenge Cup finals certainly that I can remember for a fair while. Really, it had everything that kind of makes rugby league great for me, and we'll go through it in
especially the big finish, but
even the first, starting from the very beginning, look, it was, it finished 12-10 to Hull, but that doesn't tell anywhere near the whole story. The first sort of half hour before Warrington scored, it was an enjoyable and engaging game of rugby league to watch. It was attritional, I thought, and in the best possible way, really.
The narrative has sort of turned a little bit in sort of a lot of the papers and stuff like that now to, well, the first half wasn't that great. And
I thought the first half was very interesting.
And I appreciate where people are coming from in terms of the skill level, and the flair maybe wasn't that great in the first half. The Sandow 40-20, probably aside from that, really.
Yeah.
But you need everything to make a game a complete experience and fully engrossing. I think the first half was really enthralling because of the defensive attitude of both sides, and I don't necessarily think it was that attacks were that terrible on both ends of the pitch, particularly because Warrington had a lot more possession and position probably for the bulk of the first half. But that was mostly down to defensive intensity.
Yeah,
I would say, you look at players like people like Hughes, who was very much doing a great job on closing down Snead, rattling him up a little bit in the first half, and that was what the first half was to me. It was two defences working really hard to not let each other. I mean, and that was sort of embodied by the Shaw chase back on Sandow from the interception anyway. Yeah. That was reminiscent of Shaw being chased down himself by Josh Charnley in 2013, and I thought, oh, good on the lad. He's been able to do it the other way around, but unfortunately for Hull, not enough people could get back to stop Scooter superb Matty Russell, which obviously we were expecting a lot of that.
Yeah.
And we got it.
No, absolutely. For me, the first half was... It was, like I said it was really engaging and what have you. And there were elements within it that contributed to the overall story of the game as well, I thought. As influential as we'll talk about Mark Snead being in the second half, there were a couple of times where he was ending sets and the kicks weren't great and he fluffed his lines a little bit as well. So that was good to see.
Although it did lead to that brilliant volley.
Yeah, well, that was nearly one of the great Challenge Cup final tries as well, wasn't it? Where he sort of picked up, and a bit of off the cuff stuff there as well. The thing that I took from that first half really was that Warrington, obviously with the possession and the field position that they had, they were the more effective attacking side. They were getting through Hull relatively easy, I felt. But Hull, when they had the ball, were able to finish sets in Warrington's half and put Warrington on the back foot because of Mark Snead's kicking game. There were 3 or 4 occasions where they were finishing sets on their own 40-metre line or just beyond it, and they were actually punishing, or they were turning Warrington around as well. So once those early nerves were out of the way, it seemed like they were both sort of just bashing heads, and it was good to watch. The try was just indicative of the whole first half. It was always going to be that sort of try that I feel broke the deadlock, because they were just battling so hard against each other and that arm wrestle was going on, and something had to give, didn't it? And it was just Pritchard forcing the pass a little bit too much when they thought they were on for getting in, and Sandow's intercept, and away they went. It was,
and that shows good coaching as well. It shows good learning of a player's tendency. It shows good reaction to the coaching you're getting as a player. Like, you think of Chris Sandow as a bit of a maverick, but I think that was a read that they'd worked on as a team, and good. It's good when you see things like that. That's been part of the prep. Yeah, Pritchard likes to pass close to the line. He'll force a pass here in this situation. If we've got a speedy player who can get in the middle of that,
we might be able to do something with it, and they absolutely did. So it took us to half time, and the BBC were kind of having to justify the game to a point, weren't they, with their second, with their analysis in terms of, some of the things that Mark Chant was saying, like, oh, well, to our people that watching this that don't necessarily watch rugby league, why would this be, and Jamie Peacock was kind of saying, well, no, it was a good game, and this is X, Y, and Z, and this is why it's interesting, just because you've not seen 40 points.
I was watching the cricket.
Were you?
At half time, just catching up on where we were.
See, I'm not a cricket fan, so I was watching Jamie Peacock and listening to what he had to say, but it was, it was definitely, it was in the second half where the big stories of the game happened, didn't it? And right off the bat, Wire came out really lively and got themselves a penalty in a very makeable position.
Yeah, the chat was
Kurt Gidley that he fluffed his lines on.
The chat was sort of, will Hull FC come out like they came out against Wigan? And Warrington kind of took control to make it seem like that wasn't going to happen. Gidley's missed kick was kind of, he didn't look right, did he, before he did the kick? They were talking about him doing a lot of air swings and practice kicks, and maybe his leg wasn't ready for it or whatever.
Which, if he says a lot of shit, though, do you know what I mean? Sometimes they just zone him out.
Oh yeah, no, and it was all rubbish, like you say. He should have been prepared. He's a professional rugby league player. There was something else up. I
would say so, but maybe it's the pressure of that. We talked about last week about, actually, as experienced as someone like Gidley is, appearances in finals. He's not appeared in a final, has he? He's not
even appeared in too many playoff games.
Exactly. So as good a player as he's been, and the career he's had where he's been an important player for the teams he's played for, actually that hasn't culminated in that sort of muscle memory of playing in finals and having that relaxed approach to it. And I think that was what kind of got into his brain a little bit, and maybe that was what happened. Following on from that, Ben Curry's try was brilliant piece of individual play from Darryl Clark. We talked about the hookers last week and the impact that Warrington deploying 2 speedy hookers was going to have, and this was quintessential Darryl Clark play, wasn't it? Finding that gap and darting through it and putting Ben Curry in the corner.
It's not a spoiler alert to say we'll be talking a lot about the other hooker by the end of